Do you feel like you're constantly missing out on crypto gains? Or that coins randomly pump and you don't know why? Or maybe you enter into altcoins thinking that you're going to make a ton of money, but then even after they do go up, you realize that you could have just kept your money in Bitcoin because Bitcoin went up more. Hey guys, it's Lewis here with Crypto Leads, and in today's video, I want to share with you how you can see what cryptocurrencies have the best chance of outperforming Bitcoin from a technical perspective. Now, before I get into the video, I want to share 3 reasons why a cryptocurrency might outperform Bitcoin that is not technical. Number 1, they're hyped up. Whether the coin is promoted by an influencer or it gets picked up by the TikTok algorithm and millions of people throw their $10 into it, the price ends up going up. And while this is exciting, and you could definitely take advantage of this, especially if you're an insider or if you get into it early, you never know when the token founders, the influencers, or the whales are going to dump on you. Number 2. The second reason why a coin might go up that has nothing to do with technicals, aka what's on the chart, is because it falls under the current narrative. The most recent examples of this are the artificial intelligence tokens that went up 50 to 300% based off the AI craze that ChatGPT and other artificial intelligence software created in early 2023. Number 3, the third reason why a coin might go up that has nothing to do with technical indicators is because it's going to be listed on an exchange. There used to be something called the Coinbase effect, where a coin that got listed on Coinbase would pump drastically. Since Coinbase started to list useless tokens, this effect has lost all of its power. However, this did not stop Coinbase employees from secretly buying up loads of coins before the announcement was made. These employees did what's known as insider trading, where they profited off of information that was not readily available to the public. This is illegal, and they did end up getting punished for their actions. So now, let's say that you aren't a celebrity or an influencer that could move the price of a cryptocurrency with just one tweet. And also, let's assume that you don't work at a crypto exchange and you can't do insider trading. Well, other than keeping an eye out on what the current narrative is, you could actually use the charts to see what coins have the best chances of outperforming Bitcoin and also outperforming Ethereum. So let's jump into TradingView and see how this is done. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to look at the Bitcoin chart. And by the way, before we get into this, if you could like and subscribe to this video, that would be awesome. And so if you could do that right now, I would greatly appreciate it. So looking at this chart though, we could see that it says Bitcoin against the US dollar. And you probably understand that Bitcoin is measured against the United States dollar, and that's why it says Bitcoin/USD. And I'm assuming that when you look at most altcoins, you look at them against their USD value or the price that they are in USD. And this is because people want more US dollars. So if they buy something at a certain price of USD, it goes up and they sell it, they make more dollars. However, what if the entire market goes up? So just over the past week or so, Bitcoin has gone up at least 30%. So it's actually up, wow, 40%. So how do you know if you should have had your money in Bitcoin or if you would have been better off having your money in an alt? Typically, people think that when Bitcoin goes up, altcoins go up more. And while this is true under plenty of circumstances, because altcoins have higher beta, over the last couple of weeks, Bitcoin has been the better play. So what you could do to see whether or not an altcoin is outperforming Bitcoin is you could type the name of the altcoin in TradingView. So if I use Doge, for example, I put DOGE, and then I will type in BTC for Bitcoin. And let's just click right here. And you could see clearly that you would have been better off buying Bitcoin since January 11th all the way to right now, because Bitcoin has outperformed Dogecoin drastically. In fact, over 17%. Let's also look at ADA. So we'll type ADA BTC and then we'll click one of the charts, and you could see that if you would have bought Cardano down here in December 30th, you would have outperformed Bitcoin all the way up until January 9th. And you would have outperformed Bitcoin by around 25%. However, over the past few days, or over the last week and a half, you would have actually underperformed Bitcoin. And if we go to the weekly chart, then you could look at the weekly chart and compare the altcoin against Bitcoin in the long run. So yes, during the bull market from March 2021 up until just around August 2021, Cardano outperformed Bitcoin drastically. So even though Bitcoin was going up, Cardano was going up a lot more. However, ever since August 2021, you would have been better off holding Bitcoin because Cardano has underperformed Bitcoin by 75%. Now let's do a hot one, XRP. And this one is really crazy to me. And this is the XRP against Bitcoin chart. And if we zoom out on this chart, you could see that you would have been better off holding Bitcoin compared to XRP all the way from January of 2018. So Bitcoin has outperformed XRP by over 92%, actually way more than that, since January of 2018. And this is what's crazy to me, why people are like, buy XRP, or buy this coin or buy that coin, because they don't outperform Bitcoin. However, you can see that there are little pockets of time right here, right here, right here for a couple of weeks, right here for a few weeks, where these altcoins do outperform Bitcoin. Let's look at one other one. I know that Atom was doing very, very well. So let's look at Atom against BTC. We could see that the Atom against Bitcoin chart is actually doing pretty well, and it's in this range. And as you could see, I actually put in a big green buy area and a big red sell area. And this is exactly where I want to get to in this video. So you could look at this chart and you could see that Atom has had periods of outperforming Bitcoin once, twice, 3 times very recently, and then back here as well. And so if you would have gotten into Atom instead of getting into Bitcoin, you would have done very, very well, even if Bitcoin went up, which of course Bitcoin did go up in 2021. So Bitcoin was going up in 2021 and it topped out around November. So if you would have changed from Bitcoin into Atom in December, you would have actually kept a lot more of your money or a lot more of your actual Bitcoin. And for this most recent rally, starting back in June of 22, if we look at the chart for Bitcoin and we go to Bitcoin USD and we click on it and we go back to June of 22, we could see that that was somewhat of a local bottom for Bitcoin, and Bitcoin had a nice rally of 42% from June of 22 all the way to August of 22, and then it fell down in price. However, if we look at Atom against the USD pair, we could look at this, and we could see from June 2022 up to September, it did very, very, very well. So it outperformed Bitcoin during that time, and it continued to outperform Bitcoin. So Atom from June 13th to the current date is up 92.23%. Going back to Bitcoin, you could see that from June 13th to the current date, Bitcoin is up only 32%. So if you put $100 into Bitcoin back in June 13th of 2022, right now you'd have about $130. However, if you put $100 into Atom in June 2022, you'd have $192 right now. So you'd have a lot more, and that is reflected in the Atom BTC chart. And so that's why this chart is moving up. It's because Atom outperformed Bitcoin. So what can you do with this information? Well, right off the bat, it should be obvious you can use the altcoin charts with their Bitcoin pairings to see which ones are at the best levels to get into so that you can outperform Bitcoin. This is how you do it on a technical level or from a technical perspective. Yes, if you see that a coin has great fundamentals or certain things are going to happen, such as what I talked about in the beginning of this video, you could get into that coin and you could just continue to buy it until there's a bull market and it just drastically outperforms Bitcoin. However, if you want to actually use technical analysis, all that you have to do is go into the charts and type in the coin and then Bitcoin after it, BTC after the coin, and you'll get the BTC pairing. So we're going to go through a couple right now. I'm going to share my thoughts on them, and then we'll end the video. So right now I'm starting with XLM. I'm starting with XLM or Stellar Lumens against Bitcoin because I like where it's at. What I do is I look at it, and I'll look at it on the chart that gives me the most information. So to me, that's going to be the Binance chart, of course. So I look at the Binance chart and I see, okay, so this was the bottom. So I'm going to have a big area where I want to buy potentially if it comes down to this area. But what do we have right here? We have this monthly level right here. So this is the monthly chart. It's a very big chart, very high time frame chart. So let's go down to the weekly chart. If we go down to the weekly chart, we could see that the weekly chart has this right here as well. And we are in this zone on the weekly chart. Now, it could look good. It could look bad. It really depends. Let's go into the daily to check. So going down into the daily chart, you could see that we had support, lots of support right here, and then bounce, and now we're back, and now we're down underneath the support. So we're in this, you could call this a liquidity zone, to be honest, and this area is where a lot of the liquidity was back here. So we're in this buy zone, what I would consider to be a buy zone. Now, what you could do is you could look at the candlesticks and see, okay, so we had, actually, you have to go all the way back here. We had a high, and then we just basically just went all the way down, had a low, had a high, and then all the way down, had a low, had a high, and then now it looks like we formed a higher low. So on the daily chart, on this chart, if we zoom in, you could see that we had a higher low form, then we had a doji, an indecision candle, and then we had a long wick hammer candle down, and then we had another long wick hammer candle down, and now we're moving up a little bit. So to me, on the daily time frame, this does seem fairly bullish, and I would like to go in because I think that it looks good enough to where we could get a nice, some type of good risk reward going in here, or where we could literally just put, you know, we could put this down here, 4%, and you have to take into consideration, obviously, the entire market context, because I'm not going to do this if other coins weren't going up. Right now, plenty of coins are going up 10, 20, 30% plus. So if I look at this and I say to myself, okay, we're in this support area, I think that this could come up to at least here, or if I take the Fibonacci, take the fib from the top to the bottom, 61.8 right there. All right, that's a 2-to-1 ratio, risk to reward ratio trade right here. That's a good trade. And honestly, you could even bring this up here. Maybe if I go down to a lower time frame, so I could go down to the 4-hour time frame, and I could put this right here like this. Now we have a 4.37R trade, right? Which is really, really good, obviously. So I'm looking at this, and if I put my Bitcoin in here, I'm going to make 8% on the amount of Bitcoin that I made. Bitcoin itself is probably going to go up as well, but this should go up more than Bitcoin. And what I like to do too is actually look at both the charts. So I do look at the Bitcoin chart and I look at the USD chart, and I see like, okay, if the USD chart looks good, and it does look good to me, chart looks good, Bitcoin chart looks good, okay, I'll want to go in. So that's XLM. Now I'll go to Anchor. And once again, I go to the high time frame chart. So high time frame, this is the weekly chart. And what do I see? I see down here, this was the accumulation zone against Bitcoin. So I definitely want to have a lot of alerts down here if it ever comes down. you could see that we're obviously in this huge downtrend for Anchor against BTC. So it's down, up, hits the resistance, down, up, hits the resistance, down. Who knows? Maybe it'll come back up, hit the resistance. However, now we're at this huge resistance right here, which is the horizontal resistance. So to me, this right here is too close to this horizontal resistance that I don't really want to go into it. I wouldn't want to enter it because it's so close to the horizontal resistance. And you could see that there were giant wicks coming down. So there's a lot of selling pressure in this area. So to me, my personal trading philosophy is that I don't buy at the resistance unless under very certain circumstances, but I wouldn't do that here. So this one is a no-go for me. What about algo? Okay, so algo is in this nice little, it's actually in a really good area. Algo is for Bitcoin. This was the lows. So we're in the lows. Algo against Bitcoin is at the lows. It's at the previous support before it went on this huge rally. Well, this was in September, right? So algo absolutely destroyed Bitcoin by over 400%, right? So now it's back down into this nice zone. Given the broader context of what's happening in the market, I'll say to myself, okay, this is a possible buy. So I'll go down into the lower time frames. I'll look for some type of confluence, some type of price action, some type of indication that I should get in. And what do I see? I see on the daily time frame, at least, I see a huge move down, some consolidation, a bounce up, a double tap of the support, followed by a move up, a move down, and now a break in the market structure up. So right here, this right here was the break in the market structure. That was the bullish break in the market structure. So if it comes back down, I'd want to get in on a retrace. So maybe on a lower time frame, it'll give me a better, yeah, okay. So I see this right now. So I'll take the fib from the top to the bottom. I mean, from the bottom to the top. And I like this area because this is the order block right here. So if we're bullish, then we should make a higher high. And let me go back here. And this is the big resistance area. So right there, you know, big support, big support, big support. So now it's going to be big resistance. So I like this trade. I like this trade setup for algo. It's in a nice support area. I don't know if it's going to come all the way back down and tap this again, but this is a decent enough trade for me to actually get into. You could see that the EMAs are looking like they want to finally cross. You know, this is a trending downward trending environment, right? Then finally we're getting some wave of consolidation and potentially the EMAs will cross over and we'll be able to have a nice move up. So this would be my trade for algo. And pretty much, oh yeah, and then I would also look at the USD chart and I would say, oh, look at that. Look at algo against USD. It's actually in a very clear uptrend. It's moving up, down, back up. So breaking the market structure right here, retest of the bullish order block on the daily. Maybe on the 4 hour, we could get a little bit of a better, more precise type of entry. But yeah, even down here, up, down, up, down, up, down. It's constantly in this bullish trending pattern, right? It's in a constant bullish market. So if we take the trend line, maybe bring the trend line up like this, then we have the moving averages. We have this huge area of support right here. Now that it's above this area, anywhere, literally anywhere within this area is a good buying opportunity in my opinion. So I would buy anywhere down here. And then look at this look at the Algo BTC chart. This has to come down a little bit before it gets tagged. This has to come down on the USDT chart as well before it gets tagged. Great setups, over 2R risk reward. This one, I'd probably keep it right here. So that's what I would do. And I would go through all of the different coins against their BTC pairs, because if you know that Bitcoin's going up, you could have your money in Bitcoin, keep your money in Bitcoin. So you own the Bitcoin. Bitcoin goes up. Then you can use either leverage, or you can just trade Bitcoin against these altcoins and then make even more money. And that is how you make more money trading altcoins compared to just holding Bitcoin. And so once again, if you found this video helpful, I would really appreciate it if you give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, turn on the bell notification, and I think that's going to be it. So I'll see you in the next video. Thanks again.